IPOB bans Ima Powerful, goes fully official. A major shake-up has just occurred within the Indigenous People of Biafra, commonly known as IPOB. In a move that signals tighter internal control and a new phase of official communication, IPOB has formally banned the use of the name Ima Powerful for all its press statements. For years, Ima Powerful was one of the most recognizable voices associated with IPOB's public messaging. But according to the group's top decision-making organ, that era is now officially over. So why has IPOB taken this decision now? What does it mean for the movement, its supporters, and the wider public? And how does this affect future sit-at-home orders and security narratives in the Southeast? For context, Ima Powerful was not a real individual's legal name. It was a pseudonym, an operational alias used by IPOB's publicity apparatus to issue statements, reactions, and directives to the public. Over time, that name became strongly associated with IPOB's media voice, especially on sensitive political and security matters. Statements issued under the name were often treated by supporters and observers as official positions of the organization. However, according to IPOB's leadership, the very visibility and influence of that pseudonym eventually became a problem. The decision to discontinue the use of Ima Powerful was announced by Mazi Chukwukadibia Edoziem, the head of Directorate of State, also known as the DOS, which is IPOB's highest decision-making body. In the statement, the Directorate of State explained that the continued use of the pseudonym has become dangerous to the organization, its leadership, and the broader Biafran self-determination movement. According to the DOS, the name had been abused, misused, and compromised, making it impossible to guarantee that statements issued under the identity genuinely reflected IPOB's official position. The Directorate of State outlined several key reasons behind the decision. First, IPOB emphasized that any statement issued in the name of the organization carries enormous responsibility. Such statements can influence public behavior, affect security conditions, and shape how IPOB is perceived both locally and internationally. Second, the DOS stated that unauthorized individuals and groups have begun issuing statements under the Ima Powerful name, creating confusion and internal risks. According to IPOB, some of the statements were allegedly used to disrupt peace and security in parts of the Southeast, affecting both residents and visitors. The leadership warned that continuing to allow an uncontrolled pseudonym to speak for the organization posed what it described as a clear and present danger to the movement. In essence, IPOB says it could no longer guarantee authenticity, accountability, or discipline under that system. One of the most striking parts of the announcement is IPOB's emphasis on global institutional standards. The Directorate of State said the decision was part of a broader effort to ensure that IPOB operates in line with global recognized organizational best practices. As a result, IPOB has now ruled that all official press statements must be issued exclusively on IPOB's official letterhead papers. This means no aliases, no pseudonyms, no informal releases. Only properly authorized, documented, and verifiable statements will be recognized as official. IPOB also issued a strong clarification to the public. According to the Directorate of State, any statement issued under the name Ima Powerful going forward should be completely disregarded. Such statements, the group stressed, do not emanate from IPOB leadership and do not represent the position of the Directorate of State. This warning appears aimed at supporters, media organizations, and security agencies, urging them to verify sources before reacting to any IPOB-related communication. Perhaps the most politically sensitive part of the announcement concerns sit-at-home orders. The Directorate of State categorically stated that it did not authorize any individual or group to issue a lockdown or sit-at-home order across Biafraland on Monday, February 2nd, 2026. This clarification is significant, given the economic and security implications of sit-at-home directives in the Southeast. By distancing itself from such orders, IPOB appears to be drawing a clear line between its official leadership decision and actions taken by unauthorized persons. This development marks a turning point in how IPOB communicates with the public. Supporters and observers will now have to rely solely on official, verifiable IPOB communications rather than names or personalities. It also suggests an attempt by the group's leadership to regain narrative control, reduce internal confusion, and limit actions that could escalate tensions or attract further scrutiny. Whether this move will succeed in restoring clarity and discipline remains to be seen. But one thing is clear: the name Ima Powerful is no longer an official voice of IPOB. Meanwhile, the self-acclaimed leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra (IPOB), Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, remains in jail following the landmark ruling on November 20, 2025, where he was sentenced to life imprisonment. Following his conviction, he was moved from the Department of State Security (DSS) custody to the Sokoto Correctional Facility. And recently, the Federal High Court struck out a motion filed by Nnamdi Kanu seeking a transfer from the Sokoto prison back to a facility closer to Abuja. The court ruled the motion incompetent due to lack of proper service to the government and the withdrawal of his legal aid counsel lawyer, who cited irreconcilable differences and interference in the case. Kanu continues to challenge his medical reports. He recently sued the Nigerian Medical Association (NMA) for 50 billion naira, claiming they submitted a false report that declared him fit for trial when he was allegedly in need for specialized care. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth explanation of major political and security developments across Nigeria. Thanks for watching.